Hey guys, have you ever been traveling, maybe you've been snowed in, or maybe you just don't have the motivation to get to the gym and it's preventing you from getting there on any given day? Well, today we're going to be going over some easy movements that you can do in the comfort of your own home or maybe while you're traveling in a hotel room. And I'm also going to be going over the programming that you can use to make a workout from those movements. So go ahead, stay tuned, and we'll be getting into it. Hey guys, after watching this video, I hope that you feel maybe a little bit less intimidated by thinking up your own workout and what to put in your own workout. Maybe have a little bit less of a crutch on your gym for those days that maybe you can't make it, sometimes you're traveling, or potentially if you don't have a gym, maybe this is a great time to branch into making your first workouts at home. This is a great chance to do stuff on your own, maybe feel a little bit less intimidated by walking into a gym, maybe signing up somewhere. I hope that this helps there. So I'm going to be breaking up the movements into 4 different sections, into your arm movements, your leg movements, some cardio-based movements, and then your core movements. First up of our movements, I'm talking about our arm-based movements. If we do get some requests for me to demonstrate these movements, I absolutely can as well. Over here on my left-hand side, I'm going to be having these movements and a scaling option that you can use for these movements. So the first one is your basic push-up, pushing off the ground, fully extending, and that can easily be scaled by going up against a wall or potentially up a chair and then doing a push-up there. The deeper angle that you have, the more difficult it will be. Obviously, going up against a wall will be easier than going all the way down because of gravity. Your next option that you have are doing dips. You can do dips either against a chair, maybe against a table, potentially a couch, and work on that range of motion, work on that depth, that full depth on your dips there. Those are 2 options for arm movements that you can do really with no equipment at all. Next up, we have our leg movements. We have our most basic and most effective leg movement, doing a squat, working to full depth on our squat, driving our knees out, having a nice outward position of our feet. We also could do something like lunges, focusing on one leg instead of both legs of our squat. Do some lunges there, and also, last suggestion is more of a static hold, doing a wall sit. Doing that wall sit maybe will incorporate more than your legs, but either way, it will be very effective at burning your quads. Next up, we have a few cardio options that you can use just to get your heart rate up while you're in the comfort of your own home, maybe in a hotel room. My big suggestion is doing burpees. Everyone hates burpees, and everyone hates burpees for a good reason. They are great for you. Go ahead and get some burpees in. You could also maybe do some jumping jacks, potentially some mountain climbers as well. Those are my suggestions for cardio. Last up are a few suggestions for our core-based movements. Our number 1 is our plank holds, doing variations of maybe off of your knees or ideally off of your feet if we are up to that point. After that, we can do one of the dozens of variations of sit-ups. You got your suitcases where you put your hands behind your head like this, bring your knees to your elbows, you have your V-ups, you have your toe touches, you got your knees to elbows alternating. There are lots of various sit-ups that you can look up, or I could demonstrate potentially in the next video. So now that we got a good list of exercises to pick from, I want to talk about how we can incorporate those into potentially making a workout that you feel comfortable with. First off, I want to suggest that if we are at home, maybe selecting 1 or maximum 2 exercises from each of those different categories that I talked about. Your home workout really isn't designed to be an overloading of one single muscle group. It should be just a nice general workout that'll get your blood pumping and get you not missing that gym for the day. So guys, my first suggestion for programming is doing interval-based work. What that means is you are doing a set amount of exercises per set amount of time. A good example of this is in CrossFit lingo is an EMOM, which means every minute on the minute. That means once per minute you perform a certain amount of reps. Now it doesn't have to be once per minute, it could be maybe once every 3 minutes. Maybe we try to get 10 of a single movement once a minute for 10 minutes. Maybe try to do 10 air squats 10 times with a minute between them. Something like that is a good idea for interval-based work. Another way is we can combine, potentially do couplets together. Maybe we have 5 push-ups and 5 squats. Do that once a minute, do that for 10 minutes. Obviously, we need to know maybe potentially how many reps we can sustain, whether it's 50, 100, maybe it's only 10, and that's okay. Just try to build up from there. Try to define how long you want your workout to be. Maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe you want to do 3 of those and have 30 minutes of working time total. There are also a few easy ways that you can use EMOMs and interval-based work to achieve a great workout that scales with time. Let's say potentially every minute on the minute, a good example would be to do 5 squats, 5 push-ups, and then 1 burpee. Next minute, you do 5 squats, 5 push-ups, and 2 burpees. And then you go till failure till you can't make that in a minute. One last thing I want to say about this interval work is that you shouldn't be afraid to put rest into the interval work. Let's say hypothetically on those EMOMs, you did 2 minutes on and 1 minute off. While you may think, now I'm getting 2/3 less work, that work is actually more intense now that you have that rest time in there. So don't be afraid to add rest in there. Maybe instead of you have EMOMs every minute, you choose to do every 3 minutes. Maybe you're only working for 1.5 minutes, but that's an all-out sprint. That's the type of work that we're looking for. Make this quality work. Don't just go for quantity and be trying to work for that whole 10 minutes straight. The second type of workout that you can make is called a chipper. What a chipper is a set amount of movements. There's no set amount of time. You just go for it. Let's say you wanted to do 30 squats, 20 push-ups, and then 10 lunges on each leg. That would really be a leg burner, that workout. If you wanted to do that, then that would be your chipper. Let's say you wanted to bump up those reps. You were someone who's a very experienced athlete. You want to do 100 of each of those. That would be a chipper that you can do. I would highly suggest not doing multiple movements from the same line items that I was talking about, multiple movements from arms, multiple movements from squats. That's just because that's going to overload your system. Unless you are someone who previously was at the gym working specifically on one part of your body the previous day, then you might want to do that. However, I suggest swapping it out, maybe doing those couplets, choosing 1 movement from arms, 1 movement from core, alternating back and forth on your chipper. Maybe you do 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 of push-ups and V-ups. Something like that would really be an arm and an ab burner, but it wouldn't overload either one of those. By all means, these numbers are scalable. I'm talking about doing 100 of a movement. Maybe this is your first time working out and you can only get 10 squats where you're sitting down to a chair and then you're having to stand back up again. That's absolutely fine. I would suggest doing more interval based for that. Every minute you try to get 3 or 4 squats, just for those scaling options. If we are an experienced athlete, then bump up those reps and that's fine. This is all relative to the point at which you are in your fitness journey. That's a corny way to say it, but it's kind of true here in this regard. Well guys, those are my 2 suggestions for working out at home, whether it be interval-based work or chipper-based work. Please reach out to me if you have any more questions, on social media or by the comment section below. As well, please feel free to subscribe if you want to see the next video where I will put out, basic weight training programming. If you are in the gym and you want to work on your squats, maybe you want to work on your deadlifts, how do you think of the number of reps that you're going to be doing? How do you think of the number of rounds that you're going to be doing? Well, I'll be going over that in the next video. Please like and subscribe for Milo and for me as well. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.